Everyone's always interested where they stack up with their strength numbers. So today, I'm gonna answer that question for you. I'm gonna say, hypothetically, a 25-year-old man who's been at the gym for 5 years on a regular basis, what numbers should they be able to do? Before I give my opinion, and I talk to some other educated people, we're gonna ask my family what they think. All right, Mom, you generally know the strength world. You've taken a massive interest in it in the last few years. I wanna know how much you think a 25-year-old man who goes to the gym on a regular basis should be able to squat, bench press, and deadlift.
I'd say deadlift 350, bench 200, and squat 250.
Well, it's not bad. It's pretty reasonable.
Okay, deadlift 300, squat 250, bench 200.
Mike can squat 225 for 10. Yeah. Yeah, we wear the same pant size.
What?
Okay, deadlift, I think 450, squat 200, and bench press 350.
Okay. There's a range of competencies here. So you think someone should be able to bench press 150 pounds more than they squat?
Yes.
Based on what?
I don't know.
Right. There you go. Now, we've heard from people who don't go to the gym, and they've given their thoughts, some reasonable, some unreasonable. But even people who go to the gym sometimes get this wrong and focus on exercises that aren't really replicating real life, like, say, a leg press. So we're gonna focus on the basics with the squat, bench press, and deadlift, and make sure that we're answering the question that's transferable across every single gym, every single piece of equipment. And I'm gonna tell you how much you should be able to squat, bench press, and deadlift if you are a 25-year-old, healthy, injury-free male. We're doing a video asking people about strength standards that they think a 25-year-old man should hit in powerlifting. Is that something you're comfortable to give an opinion on?
I'm 65.
I know you're 65, theoretically.
I think I was always used to say when I was younger, if you bench your body weight, that was a goal.
Yep.
So if you're 200 pounds, 200 bench.
Great.
225 bench.
Yep.
Then if you wanted to exceed that, and then squats, the same thing. I mean, we always used to, in high school, we'd be doing squats, and if we're doing 225, that was good back then, because most of us weighed between 2 and 225. And
Sure.
the biggest goal was if you can bench press your weight, you can squat your weight, and deadlift. Deadlift, we didn't do it back then.
Okay.
No one really did deadlift.
Do you think the average person should do deadlifts in the gym?
I think so. Absolutely.
Okay.
Strengthens your back.
Yeah. Dan, you on a rest time? Come on, Mitch. Could I ask you something quick, just like strength standards?
Yeah, let me draw my face.
Yeah, that's right. All right, I want to know your opinion on the average 25-year-old male gym goer.
Yeah.
What they should be able to squat, bench press, and deadlift.
I would say like squat, 2 plates, 225. Bench, probably somewhere like 165. And then deadlift, like somewhere between 285, 315.
Cool. Love it.
I would think.
Yeah, thanks,
I
dude.
might be a bit jaded, but
No, yeah. It's funny, like, once you're in the strength world, it's so astronomically different.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain, but like the strong guy who goes to the gym and the strong guy at a strength competition, it's like a different planet altogether.
well, that's it, right?
Yeah.
Like I look at my deadlift, which is pretty obscene to the average gym goer,
Yeah.
and then I look at you and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not even close, right?
But just, what is your max deadlift?
So I've done 760.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would make you the strongest person at any commercial gym.
Most gyms, yeah.
Yeah,
Not here.
Yeah. Shame. Hey, dude, Mitchell. Would you be comfortable being on a YouTube video for a quick question?
Yeah.
So for the average 25-year-old man who trains at the gym, what would you think that they could bench press, squat, and deadlift?
Well, at least 225 at least.
So squat 225?
Yeah.
Okay, bench press?
I'd say at least roughly around like the 180.
Okay, and deadlift?
Deadlift, we'll go with mine. I'll go with 405.
Cool, that's strong. That's strong. That's what you could do.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Good work.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Good to meet you.
You've been told so far, are they like in line with what you were thinking, or do you think they're reasonable?
I definitely think they're reasonable. Yeah, I mean, it's nice when you get people who actually go to the gym. They have a much better idea. Now, there's also such a range of how to answer this question. You can answer it of what would be impressive, or what you would expect, or what the average person should be able to do, or what the average person could do, or what the average person you see doing is. It's just such a range of answers and ways that you can answer. I would accept a vast array of answers to this question as reasonable. So for me, if you're doing it off of body weight, if you're doing it off absolute numbers, it's hard to give it an actual correct concrete answer, and there is no correct concrete answer. I'm going to do my best to give you my thoughts and the rationale behind that. But one thing to take away is people don't really know what the average is, because the average is a complete unknown. And so if you're someone who's going to the gym and you think you are being looked at because you're weak or because you're extra strong or for any reason, people don't know. All people want is you to be in here and contribute to a good environment, to chat to people, to build the community, to come in and work hard. And ultimately myself, if I see someone squatting for maximum and it's a slow grinding rep, I've fist bumped people who have done 800 pounds. I've fist bumped people who have done 95 pounds, because I just think it's so cool to see someone pushing themselves close to their limits. And that's really the general consensus of people at the gym, is if you're working hard, if you're pushing yourself to your maximum, you garner the respect of everyone around. And no one really considers how much weight. They don't really care. So we're trying to answer the question today, but the answer to the question is ultimately, it doesn't really matter that much. Today's video is brought to you by Ketone IQ. Now, ketones get a really big rap for their role in weight loss and in aerobic sports, but in a recent study, it increased peak power by 13% and reduced fatigue by 10%. Now, there are multiple reasons for this, but the most logical reason is that your brain can only use glucose or ketones for fuel. If you're using ketones to provide your brain with fuel, you can save glucose for your actual workout itself. Now, that also saves your brain power. I find when I take ketones and I use Ketone IQ before my workout and during my workout, I then have the ability to go back to work, to continue to focus on the things I focus on. My brain fog is less, my neural fatigue is less, and my ability to push myself harder in workouts is greater, because I know I won't pay for it on the back end by suffering for the rest of the day. So go ahead, check it out with the link in the description. Ketone IQ is what I use to keep my brain sharp and to keep my body performing at its best. Now I'm going to tell you my thoughts. I think you should be able to squat 285, bench press 217, and deadlift 335. But I didn't pull these numbers out of my head. Now, this is always going to be an imperfect science, but there's a fantastic resource for you to use, and it's called Strength Standards. This can give you the exact results for you to be a novice, intermediate, advanced, professional, based on absolute numbers and based on body weight. If you want to go ahead and check that website out, I got the average number of that from all of their inputs. For reference, there were 44 million entries of bench presses, and they take the average of that and make that some sort of chart so that you can have a general idea. Now, this is not perfect because it's just based on what people put online, but it's the closest thing we have to giving yourself some sort of indication. This will, of course, be skewed upwards because only people interested in strength will be entering their numbers, but nonetheless, it gives you a reasonable idea of where you are at this moment in time, and you'll be able to see what you need to do to be able to get yourself to that next level. Now, of course, training hard and being consistent is only half of it. The other half is going to be your recovery, your nutrition, your life stress. Sleep as much as you can, eat lots of protein, eat lots of carbs, monitor your body weight and adjust your food accordingly. Try to keep life stress to a minimum, train for a long time, and you'll be able to get yourself to the absolute maximum that you are capable of, which is ultimately all that matters. Mostly what you're going to lift is determined by your parents. And you can't change your parents, you can't go back in time. And the beauty in pursuing strength is in pursuing your own best. Focus on that, use this as a reference point, but ultimately be proud of the work that you put in, the results that you get relative only to yourself. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below with your PR squat, bench, and deadlift. And until tomorrow, lift heavy and be kind.